An auspicious noon to everyone. In front of you, I am CH Kavya, daughter of Shankaraya, studying MSS final year from THWRDC Women, Karimnagar. So, before going to discuss our main topic, first we should know what are the topics we are going to discussing today. Okay, in that first one is what is data and what is data mining. Why data mining? On what data mining? And functionalities of data mining, statistical techniques involved in data mining, and in the last, conclusion. So, first one is what is data. So, what is data? So, actually what is data? Is collection of information is known as data, and in this data is divided into two types. Those are primary data and secondary data. Coming to primary data, the data which we collected for the first time, it is known as primary data. And coming to secondary data, the data which is collected from already collected data, it is known as secondary data. So, for example, if I collect the mobile numbers from my friends, so for the first time I am collecting the mobile numbers, so it is primary data. And coming to secondary data, I already collected the mobile numbers from my friends, right? So, from me, if anyone collected the mobile numbers, then that will comes under secondary data. So, this is about data. Next one is what is data mining. So, to understand this data mining clearly, let us go through one example. So, let us consider there is one institution. So, one panel inspection team went to that college and inspecting that college. It means, the inspection team asked that principal to show the results of that particular students. Then what that principal sir will do? Actually, that principal have whole information regarding that particular student, right? It means that principal have the details of student. It means the father name, mother name of that particular student, and Aadhaar card, email ID, and mobile number. So, these different types of entities of data with that principal sir, right? So, whenever that inspection team asks that principal to show the results, then what that principal will do? He just show the name of that particular student and respective marks. So, here by this I can say that from the large amounts of data, the needed information or new information is extracted, right? So, by this example, I can say that data mining is the process of extracting new information from Data mining is the process of extracting new information or needed information from large amounts of data which already we have. So, I got that you have that clear idea about data mining. Next one is on what data mining. So, if we see in the picture, we have in the first picture we have telephone numbers, right? So, here if I want to select the cell phone number from this list of numbers, here shall I apply the data mining technique? No. Why? Because whenever we have the data with different types of entities, then only we can apply the data mining technique. But here we have only one entity of data, that is telephone number, right? So, whenever we have the data with different types of entities, then only this data mining technique can be applicable. So, if you see in the next picture, it is supermarket. So, in the supermarkets, we will have different types of entities of data. It means we will have vegetables, fruits, toys, grocery, and cosmetics. So, if I want to select any entity from that supermarket, so here I can apply the data mining technique, right? So, why? Because here in the supermarket we will have different types of entities of data. So, remember that whenever the data with different types of entities, then only we can apply data mining technique. So, this is the main thing in the data mining. And next one is why data mining. It means why we have to use data mining, and by using data mining, what are the uses we have? Let us see. So, by using this data mining technique, we can predict the future trends, and we can signify customer habits, and it improves the relationship with the customer, and it improves the concept of decision making. And the main thing in the data mining is it is mainly analyzes and summarize the data whichever we have. So for all these situations we can apply the data mining techniques. So by using all these we can get the more accurate data. And next one is functionalities of data. So we have many steps involved in data mining. In that those are gathering data, data mugging, analyzing data, data visualization, producing predictions and recapitulation. So first one is gathering data. Coming to gathering data, so this is the first step in the data mining. So the first step is to collect the data. It means we have to gather the data. So the collected data may be structured or semi-structured or unstructured. It may be the collected data may be cleared or uncleared. And next one is data mugging. So data mugging, after gathering the data, it is a time to clean the data, right? So after gathering the data we have to clean the data. So in this the raw data is cleaned and transformed into an understandable format to get the most value out of it. But in data mining, this data mugging step takes a lot of time. It takes 80% of the time in the whole process, and this step is the longest step among all the steps in data mining. And next one is analyzing the data. So after cleaning the data, it is a time to analyze the data. So first we gathered the data, next we cleaned the data, so next we have to analyze the data. So for analyzing this data in data mining, we will use some logarithms and statistical techniques. So the statistical techniques like maximum likelihood estimator, classification, regression, sampling and etc. So by using all these techniques we can analyze the data. And next one is data visualization. So whenever we have the large amount of data, then we will visualize the data and we will make it as graphs. So by making that data into graphs, so it is easy to visualize whatever data we have. So this is about data visualization, and this is the best way to explore and communicate results. So this is about data visualization. And next one is producing predictions. So machine learning algorithms helps us getting insights and predicting future trends, and this is the best way to explore the process and products. So we can predict the products whichever we have in the before only. And last one is recapitulation. So insights helps us to develop more features so as to continuously improve model outputs and timely delivered products and accurate results. So these are the some techniques involved in data mining. So first one is gathering data, right? So first we gathered the data, then we cleaned the data, and after that based on the data we analyzed the data, and next we visualize the data. Whenever we have large amounts of data, then we will go through data visualization, and then we will predict the products, and then recapitulation. It means we will summarize the data. So these are the steps whichever included in the data mining. So to solve all these techniques to solve all these steps in the data mining, we will apply some statistical techniques. So by using some statistical techniques in the data mining, we will make the data more accurate. So today our main topic is statistical techniques involved in data mining. So the statistical techniques like regression, linear regression, logistic regression, classification, sampling and maximum likelihood estimator. So coming to regression. Regression is nothing but relationship between one independent variable and one or more dependent variables. So the relation between dependent and independent variables is known as regression. And this regression is used to predict the values in the data mining. So we can predict the trends in the data whichever we have. For example, we can predict the cost of a product. We can predict the cost of a product by using regression. So this regression is used to predict the future trends. And in this regression, we have different methods like linear regression, logistic regression, etc. So let us go with linear regression. So coming to linear regression, So linear regression is a method which shows the relationship between one dependent variable and another independent variable. So in this dependent variables are variables that changes as a consequence change in another variables, and these dependent variables are also known as response variables, and these are denoted by y. And independent variables are regarded as inputs to a system. They may take different values freely, and these independent variables are denoted by x. So if you see in the picture, we will have one equation, right? Y equal to mx plus c. So in that, x is an independent variable and y is an dependent variable. So if I change the values of x, then automatically y will be changing, right? So if I change the values of x, then automatically y will be changing. So here there is a relation between x and y, right? So here in between the independent variables and dependent variables, the relation is existing, right? So this is linear regression. And let us consider one example. So let us take student results. So here student results is dependent variable. So for that student results, we have many factors like proper preparation and grip on subject and interest on subject. So all these factors which are affecting to that student results. So based on that factors, we can estimate the student results, right? So based on the factors, we can estimate the student results. So here these factors are acting as independent variables and that student results are acting as dependent variables. So based on the independent variables, the dependent variables are changing. So here the relation is existing between factors of that factors and that student results. So this is about linear regression. Before only we can predict the factor which is affecting that results more. So here which factor is affecting more, we can able to know before only. So this is about linear regression. Next one is logistic regression. So logistic regression is a regression. It shows the relationship between one dependent variable and one or more independent variables. So the relation between one dependent variable and one or more independent variables. So for example, as we daily drink tea, right? So for that we should go to the shop daily for the milk packets, right? So we have to daily go to the shop and we will buy the milk packets, right? So if we observe the sales of that milk packets, they were in linear. So that the sales of that milk packets are in linear way. So there is same difference between the sales of that day to day, right? So the sales will be same day to day. So they are in linear. So that is comes under linear regression, right? So in the same way, if we consider one stationery shop, so from that stationery shop, if I buy one water bottle, so after buying that water bottle, that bottle is used for so many days, right? So after many days, we will again go to a stationery shop to buy that water bottle, right? So that water bottle is working for many days, so that we can go to the shop so after many days, right? So if I observe the sales of that water bottle, they are not in a linear way, right? So there is a they are not in same sales, right? The sales are not in same, they are differ. It means they will comes under logistic regression. So these are the regressions which are used to estimate the parameters before. So in the data mining, how this regression is helpful means, if you want to find out the relation between dependent variable and independent variables in the data, so then we can go through this regression techniques. So if we have the data linearly, then we can go through the linear regression in data mining. So in the data mining, if we have more number of variables and more number of dependent variables, then we can use this logistic regression. So by using these all regression techniques in data mining, we can predict the future values. So by using all these regression techniques in the data mining, we can estimate the data before only. So this is one technique which is used in data mining. And next one is classification. So, classification is the process of dividing the whole process into some meaningful categories for analysis. So, by using this classification, we will get the data into some meaningful categories. And in this classification is divided into 4 types. So, we have 4 types of classifications. They are geographical classification, chronological classification, qualitative classification and quantitative qualification. So, coming to geographical classification, the data which is classifying based on the location or area. So, that is known as geographical classification. So, if any data is classifying based on area or location, that is known as geographical classification. So, for example, if I want to calculate the production of food grains in different states of India. So, here according to the states I am finding the production of food grains, right. So, here I am depending upon the state. It means based on the location I am classifying the data, right. So, whenever we based on the location, then that will comes under geographical classification. So, next one is chronological classification. The data which we classified based on time. It means it may be year, month, days. So, if we classify the data based on the time, then it will come under chronological classification. For example, if I consider some table as year and profits. So, in the years we have 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003 and 2004. So, from 2000 to 2004 I have the years in the years column. So, for that I have some profits like 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So, here if I want to calculate the profits from 2000 to 2004, it means I have to calculate the profit from 2000 to 2004. It means here I am depending upon the year, right. So, whenever indirectly it is depending upon the time, right. So, whenever we classify the data based on the time, then it will comes under chronological classification. So, this is about chronological classification. And next one is qualitative classification. So, the data which is classified based on some characteristics which can't be measurable. So, that will come under qualitative classification. So, can we measure the knowledge of a person? No. Can we measure the beauty of a person? No, we can't measure the knowledge or beauty of a person, right. So, whenever we have the data which is classified based on some categories which can't be measurable, so that will come under qualitative classification. And the last one is quantitative classification. The data which is classified based on some characteristics which can be measurable. So, the data which can be measurable, that will comes under quantitative classification. For example, height, weight, age, etc. So, here I can measure the height of some person, right. So, I can measure the weight of some person, right. So, the characteristics which can be measurable and those can be classified. So, that characteristics will come under quantitative classification. So, here the difference between qualitative classification and quantitative classification is in the qualitative classification the characteristics which cannot be measurable, but in the quantitative classification the data which we are classifying, that characteristics can be measurable. So, in the qualitative classification we can't measure, so in the quantitative classification we can measure. So, this is the difference between qualitative classification and quantitative classification. So, these are some techniques in classification. So, but how these techniques helps in data mining? Let us see. So, in the data mining, we have large amounts of data, right? So, if you want to classify the data into some meaningful categories, then we can go through this classification technique. And in data mining, if you want to classify the data according to some location or area, then we can go through that geographical classification technique. And in the same way, if you want to calculate the data, if you want to classify the data based on area in the data mining, then we can apply this chronological classification. So according to the situation in the data mining, we can apply these techniques. So by using all these techniques in the data mining, we can classify the data into some meaningful categories for analyzing. So by using this classification in the data mining, we get some meaningful data and we can analyze that data easily. So this is about classification. Next one is sampling. So sampling in data mining. Sampling is the process of selecting the samples from population. So let us consider our India. So here India is acting as population. In India we have several states, right? So those are individual observations. So from that, if I want to select the Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, some Kerala. So here whichever I am selecting from India, so those are called as samples. So from the India I am selecting some states, right? So here from population I am selecting the sample. So this is about sampling. In sampling we have many methods. Those are judgment sampling and simple random sampling, stratified random sampling and systematic random sampling. So coming to judgment sampling. So in the same, based on the judgment, we will sample the data. Here we have sample size for a study is equals to 8. It means from the class of 20 students, we have to select the data, right? So in the same, here in the judgment sampling, based on the judgment, we will select the samples. Next one is simple random sampling. So in this we have two techniques. Those are lottery method and random numbers table. So in the lottery method, we will take some slips and we will write some data in that slips, like we will write some numbers in that slips. Then we will put that slips in some box and then we will mix that slips. Then we will select the slip from that box. So this is about lottery method and random numbers table. So here in the random numbers table, we have some numbers from 1 to 10,000. So randomly we can select the number, and here we have two properties, that in the numbers the entries should be with 0 to 9 and all the individuals should be equal chance. All the samples should be have equal chance. So this is about simple random sampling. Next one is stratified random sampling. So in the stratified random sampling, the whole population is divided into some subgroups, and from that subgroups we will select the samples. So those samples, the subdivided sample is known as strata. So like that we will select the sample. Here we have the Rohtak city, right? So in that we will have some, we will divide that city into some categories. So here all these are stratas. So from that we will select some samples. So this is about stratified random sampling. Next one is systematic sampling. So in the systematic sampling, we will select the sample systematically, but the first sample whichever we will select, that should be in randomly. So randomly here we will select third person, sixth person and ninth person. So first sample whichever we are selecting, that should be random, but after that the next samples should follow the same rule. It means for the next sample also we have to select third person, sixth person and ninth person. So this is about systematic sampling. So here, by using this sampling technique in data mining, we can save our time. For example, for the data mining, it means for large amounts of data, if we apply the systematic sampling technique. So in the systematic sampling, if we know the first random if you select the first sample, then automatically we will follow the same rule for the entire process, right? So by using that systematic sampling in the data mining, we can save our time and we can reduce our cost. And next one is maximum likelihood estimator. Maximum likelihood estimator is a statistical tool which is used to measure the parameter in data mining. So to measure the parameter value, we can use this maximum likelihood estimator. And in this maximum likelihood estimator, we will have two properties. In that, first one is, it is a methodology which tries to do two things. Those are, it is a well principled way to work out with what computation you should be doing whenever you want to find out some whenever you want to calculate some models. So this is first thing. Second one is, it is often rarely computationally trackable. So for example, here I tossed a coin for 100 times. If I got after tossing that coin 100 times, if suppose if I got 56 heads and 44 tails. So if we toss a coin for one time, we will have a chance to occur head and tail. So there are 50-50 chances, right? So here, instead of taking 0.5 as parameter, we will take some maximum values. It means we will take some nearest values to that 0.5. So in the picture, if you see in the picture, so first I calculated p equal to 0.5. I substituted that p equal to 0.5 in binomial distribution. The PMF of binomial distribution is NCX p power x q power n minus x. So if I substituted that 0.5, I got 0.0389. So in the same way, related nearest value to that 0.5, I took 0.52. Then I got 0.0581. So if you compare these two values, I got 0.0581 is maximum, right? So in the same way, I took p equal to 0.48, 0.50, 0.52. So like this, I took some nearest values to that 0.5 and I applied in that binomial distribution formula. Then I got the maximum values. I got some values, right? So if I plot all these values in the graph, then I got the maximum value at 0.08, right? So I got the maximum value at 0.08. So here we got the maximum value, right? So the parameter value for tossing a coin 100 times we got. So in the same way, in the data mining also, if you want to analyze the parameter value, then we can go through this maximum likelihood estimator. So by using all these techniques in the data mining, we can save our time and we can reduce our time, and we will get the accurate data. So statistics is a science of learning from data. It includes everything from analyzing to summarizing. So coming to my conclusion, by using these statistical techniques in data mining, we can save our time, we can reduce our time, and we can get the most accurate data. So learn more, so get more from less. So thank you for giving this opportunity. I especially thank to our R.S. Praveen Kumar sir and Sharma sir Garu for providing such a wonderful opportunity, and I especially thank to my Principal Sir Dr. T. Lakshman Rao Sir Garu, and I want to thank my mentor Kavita Madam Garu, and I want to thank all of my friends who helped me a lot. Thank you everyone. Thank you one and all.